changes. We need you to struggle. Not that it's going to do any good. You were born in this room. You're going to die here. But you knew that, didn't you? Even in your sweetest dreams, you knew that seeing the sun, seeing Shaun, was too good to be true. I threw back the covers, intending to leap out of bed and hammer my hands against the mirror. They were probably standing right on the other side, watching me, judging me, measuring my reactions. Well, I'd give them a reaction. I'd give them an explosion. I'd hit that glass until it shattered, and then we'd see who was trapped here. I wasn't trapped here with them. They were trapped here with me. But when I pulled the blankets off my legs weren't there. My body ended in a pair of carefully bandaged stumps. Dr. Thomas was laughing, his voice drifting through the intercom like the judgment of an angry god. "Oh, I'm sorry," he said. "You must have been so deep in the dream that you forgot. We removed those the last time you tried to run, Georgia. You can't run anymore. You're never going to get away from here. You're never going to leave us. We'll keep you until we're done with you, and then we'll keep you in jars, sliced and sectioned for study until you give up all your secrets. So give up, give up, give up." The dream always ended the same way, too. I woke screaming, clawing at the air, with the winter chill heavy on my skin and Shaun's hands pinning my shoulders to the bed. Shaun's voice cutting through my cries as he pleaded with me to breathe, Georgia, breathe. They can't hurt you anymore. They're not here, and if they were here, I'd throw a fucking party right after I shot them into Swiss cheese. So come on, Georgia, breathe. My vision cleared, and there he was, bending over me, his knees planted in the mattress and his hands holding me down, keeping me from hurting myself. I stopped flailing, giving one final kick for the sake of feeling the blankets against my heels. My body was still my own. My mind belonged to me. My life belonged to me. To me, and to the man who was looking down on me with such terrified concern. My best friend. My adoptive brother. Weird as that past relationship was in the light of our present one. The only person I'd ever loved enough to die for. "Better now?" asked Shaun. "Better," I said, and forced a smile. He watched me for a moment longer before he took his hands off my shoulders and collapsed, all but boneless, to the mattress beside me. "That dream again, huh?" I nodded wordlessly. He didn't need me to describe the dream. He'd heard it all before, over and over again, on the nights when I woke up screaming. It wasn't as bad as it had been when the dream was new. Back then, I'd managed to claw off strips of my own skin trying to remove the tracking devices my subconscious mind believed were planted there, the ones that would inevitably lead the CDC to our position and put me back in that featureless white room. It didn't matter that the CDC, as I remembered it, no longer existed, subsumed as they'd been by the EIS and by the sweeping policy changes put in place by the Ryman administration. The CDC had created me, growing me from a few scraps of DNA and programming my oldest memories from a combination of the electrical patterns of the original Georgia Mason's brain and their own ideas about what sort of person I should be. I was their daughter and their masterwork, and one day they were going to come for me. When they did, though, Shaun was going to be ready. I could see that simple, sincere truth in his eyes, and so I allowed my own eyes to close as I nestled up against him, breathing deeply, and waited for sleep to come back and claim me again. It was going to be a long wait. As Shaun rubbed my back and the sound of the owls going about their business outside drifted in through the windows, I found that I was okay with that. 2. Georgia was still asleep when I rolled out of bed and tiptoed for the door, leaving her to slowly roll into the warm spot created by my body. I stopped at the door and looked back at her, unable to stop myself from smiling. She always looked so peaceful in the mornings. Sure, it was usually because she'd exhausted herself screaming in the middle of the night, but that didn't change the fact that in the morning, when her eyes were closed and the screaming was over,